Hey guys, Chairman here, back with another featured live match replay with commentary by yours truly. Today we'll be looking at round 2 of the locals tournament we had last week, featuring Princess Connect versus Grisaia. Now, this is the JP, these are both JP decks, so we're talking about the JP meta here. Grisaia is very popular currently because of its favorable matchup against D-side, whereas Princess Connect recently got their set 2, maybe I think a few weeks ago. So they're bringing a lot of new tools to the mix. Notably, the player on the left is playing the La Brista combo. That is a pretty ridiculous endgame combo. It is at the end of the attack, you may pay 10 and stack 4 cards on the top of your opponent's deck and then burn 6. So if that burn 6 does stick, it is pretty lethal, but 10 stock is definitely a very hefty requirement, and we'll see how the Princess Connect player is planning on getting to that high stock. Grisaia player is playing 2 Kazukis at level 0, pretty strong start. Generally speaking, Grisaia can play a lot of cards at level 0 because of that Kazuki JC, giving field advantage or hand advantage by being able to bounce one of your characters back, as well as the anti-heal that it's sent to memory. You kind of want on the field early, so you can pay the cost to send it to memory. Princess Connect does take all the damage and gets hit to level 1, basically clocks up to level 1 very quickly. Does retain the Monica Runner from the previous turn, which is always great for that deck. Monica Runner is an excellent free runner. At the start of your climax step, you can choose one of your characters. It gets 1000 and pay 1 twin drive. So excellent way to just have a twin drive effect always on the field. It doesn't need to be in front row in order to do that, so that is kind of a downside. You can't just like park it in the back and give us a character twin drive every single turn, but it's still a really excellent card. Definitely very premium. The power on top of the twin drive effect is just amazing. Back row looks like he's playing, is that I can't actually even tell. It's a 1-0? Well, the front row, he is playing the Mimi 1-0. This is a very common card you'll find in gold bar or blue gate decks. Just allowing you to, whenever you trigger one of those climaxes, to discard a climax and salvage any card from your waiting room. So really good addition from the first set. First set, the blue gate and gold bar decks were not that strong, so it wasn't a very good card back then, but definitely in set 2, getting a lot more, I guess, seeing a lot more play and a lot more power because of that. So it looks like he has just 2 copies of the that girl in the back. Goodness, I need to remember these characters' names. There's so many characters in Precone, it's so hard to remember their names sometimes. She's the girl from Carmina. I do know she's like part of the idol group. So yeah. Looks like he does have the climax combo, but isn't opting to do the combo. Oh, is it on placement? You can assign. Oh, that's right. This is like the John combo from Ruby, where on the climax placement you get to assign the on reverse to one of your characters. So he assigns both copies of that to the center slot Monica, and then gets to salvage 2 on the on reverse, and keeping it in back row so that the following turn he can use it again, presumably, if he has the climax again. So really good. Solid play here. Direct attack gets cancelled. That's a good look for the Grisaia player. Definitely early cancels for Grisaia is good. Oh, he's thinking about the JC effect at this point. I mean, I think, oh, he's gonna go for it. That's kind of interesting. Generally speaking, you want the anti-heal to go to memory, but I guess you can also play it. The good thing about using the JC now and getting the anti-heal back into hand is that Princess Connect board is quite weak on the defense. Both the Monica and the Saren are 1000 power, and the Saren will actually go away if, or could potentially go away if the Grisaia player plays the climax and the Princess Connect player decides to send it to stock. So the bounced back anti-heal will still get value by from coming back onto the board and being able to get a favorable reverse, and then afterwards, you know, gets to block up a lane, soak up some damage. So yeah, definitely think the bounce back is good here. Just basically a +1. Oh, Well, unfortunately, the Grisaia player seems to have an absolutely horrible hand. Wow. Opts to not even pay 1 to send the anti-healer into memory. Just okay. Wow, that's just yeah. Attacks once with the climax. Does manage to trade and kill the Mimi, which is really excellent, and also leaves no characters on board. So Princess player cannot recur combo here, which is definitely kind of the silver lining on this. Otherwise, pretty awful turn. This is definitely not ideal for the Grisaia player. But Princess Connect player definitely looking good here. Replays the Mimi from hand. That's always great to see. Moves the Tsumugi. Her name's Tsumugi. Moves the Tsumugi to front row along with the twin drive. So this is pretty good. Just being able to have the twin driver here. He's thinking about using the okay. So he decides to not use spammable brainstormer, but does play it down for the frontal 500 support. Yep. Attacks with Mimi first. You always attack with Mimi first just to give the blanket trigger climax effect to your entire board. Directs here for 2, and then let's see if he's going to twin drive. He is going to twin drive here, so let's see what he triggers. Counter, and so it's going to be direct for 3 here. Yeah, wow. Just sticking all the damage on the Grisaia player. This is definitely a very strong start from Princess Connect. Grisaia player kind of struggling a little bit, just being stuck at level 0 and only having 1 attacker on the previous turn, definitely hurting a lot. And then yeah, being unable to kind of answer his opponent's board, as well as being able to present characters on the board to soak up the damage on this turn, as well as not ideal for Grisaia here. And does need a clock to replenish hand. Definitely pretty low on total resources between hand and field. Starts playing some Sachama Cookings. Always a great card because it's very easy to grab back the Sachi combo with the Sachama Cooking, and then the Sachi combo will in turn salvage the Sachama Cooking from the waiting room back into hand. This is the set 1 Grisaia combo, and while set 2 does give them additional combos to work with, I think a lot of players still prefer running the Sachi combo from the first set because of its favorable trigger, as well as just kind of the overall flexibility and ease of use of the combo. The combo is big offensively and defensively. The climax is a very good trigger, and just the selection of the mill is quite excellent for all intents and purposes. Yeah, just additional mill as well as really great selectivity. I think the fact that so unlike Shizu combos, which are on attack, you do the effect, which is like mill 2 and salvage equal to total levels. Unlike Shizu combos, which happens during the climax phase, the fact that you get the event and then you can use the event at a later time to get the selectivity is actually quite good. So you don't have to like force yourself to mill in a deck state where you don't want to mill, and then you can always mill more in a deck state where you do want to mill more. So always really great to have that kind of additional, or that kind of like separation of effects. The only thing that is missing is that you can't do it at counter step, which is what decks like Damachi get to do with their knives. And that like, yeah, you can, even if you're super out and like super free, you can actually just do it on your opponent's turn to get the milling that you otherwise would be missing from not having it tacked onto your climax combo here. Definitely a longer turn from the Grisaia player at level 1, but definitely also kind of justified because of just how much damage he took the previous turn. Just need to really think about how to go into this this second deck compression without being too disadvantaged. This is a very big turning point for most decks. The second deck refresh, that compression really dictates the amount of damage and potential kind of resources, as well as your options for the mid game. And given that the Grisaia player is definitely hurting on resources and all that, it's very understandable that this second deck refresh is going to be very, very important. Princess Connect takes the 2, cancels the center 2, and looks like cancels the last attack. Wow, it's really good cancels on Princess Connect's part here. Gets to go into second deck with really good clock compression. I mean, presumably he can brainstorm and do other things here in order to get out of. Oh, he's going to 3-stock the Tsumugi. Interesting. That, I mean, that definitely telegraphs that he has the climax in hand. Otherwise, this is just not a very good play. But given that he does have the climax in hand, 3-stocking Tsumugi not only saves the character, but also allows you to get an additional character with the climax combo. And you're definitely going to get a reverse with the center slot anti-healer being a very easy reverse target for basically anything on Precone player's board. So now he is out, or he does have a lot of cards in deck, and he does want to get close to refresh here. However, the back row spammable brainstorm is definitely going to be. Oh, is that not the spammable actually? I don't think that's the spammable. That's the set 1 brainstormer. I believe it's a search brainstorm, but that will mill 4 cards and get you closer to that refresh. So I do think clocking as well as brainstorming here is probably good. Oh, he declines not to clock here. That is kind of interesting, the no clock here. I wonder if that means that he's not planning on milling out the rest of his deck this turn, but he's still counting cards. I mean, I think if you're trying to mill the rest of your deck, clocking here is an additional mill 2, effectively, right? You clock 1 and you draw 2. That's 2 more cards out of your deck that you don't have to worry about milling. So unless you have like a lot of mill and you don't need the extra, like the draw 2 from the clock effect, generally speaking, you would still want to clock here just to have that ease of milling, right? But it's possible that you also don't want to mill through. Oh, playing the back row. Oh my goodness, what's this girl's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. The back row, she's really, oh, Kasumi, there you go. Yeah, the back row Kasumi, that card is honestly one of the crazy strong cards from Precone set 2 that I think just has a really great fit in basically every deck you can play as a one of, and it's really good in certain matchups. So the fact that he's going to be using right here is pay 1, arrest the Kasumi to target one of your characters, give it on reverse. Oh, I think it even gives power too, actually. Power, and I think on reverse, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and then add a level 1 or higher card from among them. So basically the we call it the Fukajiro effect, except on reverse as well as being a plus, right? Because pay 1 and then on reverse you add a card. So it's basically pay 1 plus the hand. So that is effectively, it can effectively mill as much as a brainstorm, which is really, really powerful for these, what do you call it? Really, really powerful for these on reverse effects. And because brainstormers don't always hit, but if you get a reverse here, you will always hit. Also, it doesn't give power, unfortunately. It just gives the on reverse effect, which is still already quite excellent. And so that will give the Precone player the additional mill that he's not going to get from the brainstormer. And knowing that he probably doesn't have any climaxes left in his deck, the brainstormer wouldn't have actually gotten him any additional resources because it would have just been pay 1 to mill 4. Whereas the this Kasumi is going to be pay 1. He's going to get a card from it, presumably, you know, as long as he hits the level 1 or higher from the mill or from the reveal in deck. So yeah, definitely really good stuff from the Precone player to have that Kasumi. Good news for the Grisaia player though, he does get to refresh with that juicy 6-card clock compression because he was able to cancel the climax, and then, or he was able to cancel the top card with climax, and then because the Precone player did play a 1k1 here, the next swing would have been like this here. Oh, there was a trigger unaccounted for, taking extra damage for that, I presume. Wow, just hitting all the way up to 2-5. That is pretty unfortunate here. Okay, Precone player decides 2 on reverse effects, right? 1 on reverse effect is the Pecorine, so that will be the on reverse blind stock, and then the second on reverse effect is going to be the Kasumi. So activating Kasumi here first does hit on the Kokoro 3-2. That is an add, so he can stop here if he wants to and still get the plus. Really depends on the number of climaxes left in his deck. Generally speaking, if you have 1 climax left in deck, then it's definitely worth it to stop earlier and just hope that that 1 climax is still in the deck to get the cancel. Additionally, this Kasumi has a second effect. Right, as if that effect wasn't good enough, you can also tap it to choose one of your opponent's characters, and until the end of their turn, they are not allowed to move that character to any other stage position. So great against runners, great against standby decks that are standbying big beaters to the back row. You just freeze it from the back row and they won't be able to move it up. So That's why I say this Kasumi is basically a great one of tech in like any deck, even if you don't want to use the first effect of adding a level 1 or higher from your deck. The second effect is always just going to be really good against standby. You'll be able to play it in the back row and just like constantly freeze one of your opponent's characters every turn. So yeah, definitely a great one of tech. You could like a lot of decks nowadays run 3 to 4 brainstormers. You could cut one of the brainstormers to play one of this Kasumi, and you will still effectively have the same number of cards that can mill 4 from your deck, but instead of having one of the cards be a brainstorm, it would be one of these Kasumis. And Kasumi is definitely better first deck compared to a brainstormer, where like first deck brainstormer is definitely not going to hit that often because you're very uncompressed on your first deck. Holy, did that Grisaia player just hit 3? Oh, that player just hit 3. That's kind of crazy. It's like not that good here. Oh, is it just 2? Okay, I thought it was 3. But 2 is not bad. Oh, it is 3. Yeah. I was like, this player definitely hit 3. Wow, that's crazy. So that's actually not ideal here because you definitely don't want to be hitting climaxes out of your second deck. You want to cancel with those, but it is good in the sense that like he wasn't able to get a lot of resources early game, so this will definitely bring him back closer to where he wants to be from a resource point of view, and then hopefully that will allow him to play more defensively at level 3 and potentially bring the damage lead back. Another card that's going to bring the damage lead back is definitely this Kazuki 1-0 bomb. This card is a absolute like powerhouse to deal with. So it is a level 1 bomb. So when it gets reversed, you can reverse this battling opponent that's level 1 or lower. But it's also just has like, it's like 4k power and has 2 soul for like no good reason. I think it's like a memory condition. It gets power and soul, so it's like not only is this card hard removal for, or not hard, like guaranteed removal against a level 1, but it also just swings for 2 damage for free. Yeah, it's also 4/5, so like against some level 1s it actually just gets over them, because like 4/5 with the 1-0 brainstormer, which is frontal 500, it actually just hits 5k power, so like gets over like some level 1s. Like for example, in this matchup, it actually gets over the Tsumugi 1-0s, because the Tsumugi 1-0 is 4/5 on defense. The power pump is only on attack. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Tsumugi is 4/5 on defense. I don't think a power pump is cross turn. So yeah, in this case, the bombs will be able to get over its battling opponent, and for 2 soul swings, so definitely like really big, especially first deck. That damage is like very likely to stick, and then it also gets to stay on board for like defensively too, which I think that Kazuki bomb is just absolutely crazy. So unfortunately, this is I guess this is still the remainder of first deck, but yeah, Princess Connect player is definitely going into second deck here, and second deck, the swings for 3 are they're still like decently likely to stick, since it's just like a fresh refresh and he's not like that compressed. But towards the middle of that second deck, those swings for 3 are definitely not favored to stick. You'd rather be swinging for 1 and 2. But I think at this point, because it's just a fresh deck, so you still have a pretty not great compression, and this is like the best time for him to push damage, because he's basically a full level behind. So he really needs, refreshing climax. That's definitely not great for a pre-cloning player, but does get to cancel it, which is kind of huge. And cancels the last attack. This guy is just too good. Wow. Still at level 1. That's insane. He's just a full level ahead right now. Full level ahead with like 7 stock and a full hand. Dang. That's just pure skill. Yeah, this is kind of a crazy snowball Princess Connect player is getting out of here. And it really comes out of that extra turn at level 0, being able to just have a full field and like close to full hand for like no reason. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. 1/6 here. Doesn't get to play the Kokoro 3/2 early play that he added to his hand from the top check of the Kasumi. So I wonder if he has playables, or like enough playables here. I don't remember what he actually added from the Tsumugi combos, but I assume, okay, well, plays another Tsumugi. That's definitely a good sign here. I think if he could have been at 2-0, that would have actually been preferable for him, because the Kokoro has 2 different effects on play. You can either heal, or the second mode is actually to top check X. And yeah, you could top deck X here for a climax just to like get some extra damage like pushed in here. Would have been really nice, I think. Especially after that Brainstorm 3, you know that the remaining cards in this deck are probably going to be fairly clean. Although he did take a lot of damage earlier, so it's definitely likely that there's still a few climaxes left in the deck. I mean, at this point, I think Princess Connect player should be feeling really good. He's a full level ahead. All he really needs to do is tap his opponent to level 3 here, and then just try to close out on the following turn. Don't use too many resources here. Definitely try to conserve resources for a bigger push the following turn. But at this point, he is going to probably lose his entire board because the bombs are going to bomb it. So he also needs to make sure that his own compression isn't in a bad situation. And this is kind of where Grisaia really gets you, is when the Kazuki bombs live and are able to bomb their opponents on their turn, then that empty field combined with like a strong push from the Grisaia player, either recurring the Kazuki bombs, which will be directing for 3, or just any other like a combo turn or something. And that turn of like a lot of soul damage, if their opponent's is like compression is just a little bit not good enough, definitely could result in like just an immense like swing back, like, you know, turnaround play for the Grisaia player. So this is definitely where Grisaia has a lot of power. It's like a very important turning point, is the turn that the Kazuki bombs live and get to bomb their opponents. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe this is going to be the turning point for the Grisaia player, that he needs to mount a comeback situation, but definitely is going to be quite rough from this situation here. I think he's deciding on the level, like whether he needs the blue here, or just kind of thinking about yeah, like cards in deck and stuff like that. But yeah, so he will get the direct attacks on this turn, which is going to be good for him, but otherwise not ideal. What's going on here? I'm not quite sure. I think there might have been some kind of a legal situation here. This is the first time I've watched this footage, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't think they called me over for this as the judge for this tournament either, so I do hope that they were able to resolve this somehow. Oh, is it because he decided to level refresh before leveling up? Oh, is it because he refreshed before leveling up? Oh, he took the oh, yeah. Well, this is what happens when the old refresh rule kind of sneaks up on you, or I guess a new refresh rule sneaks up on you. Yeah, now that I think about it, the Grisaia player definitely took damage before refreshing, I think. So I guess they're just trying to make it work here. Yeah, I think, okay, I guess they're just going to play off of this. I mean, I can't understand what exactly happened. You know, I'm just trying to commentate, not really in judging mode at this point. But yeah, I do think that, because the Grisaia player was at 2-6, right? So he would have had to, yeah, I think the damage would have, oh wait, no. I think he would have been fine. If it's 2-6, it would have been fine. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Wait, hold up. Yeah, no. This should be fine, I think. Oh, no. Oh, I guess, yeah, the refresh damage should have been one of the other cards, but at this point, it's probably fine. One thing I will say about this as a judge is that technically, once you've refreshed your deck, the order of your deck, unless you're stacking, is completely random. So whether you take the refresh point before or after, it doesn't really make a difference, assuming that, you know, you're honest. So at the end of the day, random deck is random, so that isn't really enough to like quantify as like a game loss or anything like that. Like, you definitely can just play off of it if somebody like accidentally mess up the order, and there's no real good way to rewind it. As long as the deck is random, it's fine. But that will definitely be a warning, because, you know, it's not proper gameplay, and if a player keeps doing that making that same mistake, it could escalate to game loss. So yeah, but generally speaking, the rule that I go by as a judge is that random is random, and that is one of the ways to rewind a situation, even though you can't rewind it exactly. As long as you can come up with a fair random kind of situation, then you're good to go. Did he discard for the heal? I didn't quite notice that, but I'm assuming he did. I mean, granted, he is just a complete level down at this point. Just not doing so good against this matchup. Taking the damage early definitely not helping here. I think sometimes Weiss is pretty much decided on like one early game interaction, which is why I think deck building wise, it's good to lean into like higher level 0 counts. But even in that case, there's still no guarantee that you're going to draw all your level 0s or that you don't just completely get screwed with climax and stuff like that. But that's just the nature of card games. That's just the nature of randomness. And yeah, every game is going to suffer in that regard, right? So you kind of take those as it comes and just kind of move on, right? So in Weiss Schwarz, every game is, very unique and not indicative, I would say, of player skill or even deck strength. But every game is just it's just an experience, you learn something new every single time. Going for the stock swap here, I definitely agree with that. I think the stock was very clean here, so we'll see how this stock swap is going to affect the situation here. Definitely what I like about this stock swap on this attack and at this point in the game is that, definitely stock swap some climaxes away there. That's really good for the Grisaia player. The damage does not go to clock. I do hope they clear that up, but even if they don't, I don't think it's the biggest problem. Yes. Okay, good. The damage stays out. Hey, what? No. The other one stays out too. It was for 4. Oh no. It's okay. Yeah, you gotta remember the refresh point happens, or the refresh resolution happens before the damage gets moved to clock. So the Labrista on the top of the clock should still be in the resolution zone, but it's okay. But yeah, what I really like about this stock swap at this time is that it's not really a stock swap meant to kill the pre-component player. It's not like a stock swap for lethal, but it's actually a stock swap to really mess up the stock compression and the stock ordering. Wait. Huh? Wait. No. That goes to hell. No, that's definitely at the top of your, the Labrista. Yeah, thank you. All right, Grisaia player is definitely on top of the game state here. Wonderful, good stuff. Yeah, that's there we go. All right, so but yeah, the stock is just so kind of utterly screwed at this point that if the pre-component player decides to try to dirtle for one more turn, which is, it's possible given like the immense damage lead, but like then it's like they're playing with a super dirty and just like potentially like a very sabotaged stock, in which case like they actually might if they can't end it on this turn, then like they actually might just be completely screwed. Oh wow, he just took that much damage here. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, so like I do like the stock swap a lot on that first attack, because it just really ruins the stock situation. And yeah, in the event that the pre-component player does get to stay at level 2 for an extra turn, and they do play with that stock, it could potentially just completely screw them if they are able to finish the game. On that note though, I do think that potentially not attacking with the Yumiko in the center slot could have been a correct play here, because now that the pre-component player is at level 3, they can just go for lethal with the Labrista combo. And the Labrista combo is really, really scary because it just represents 6 damage on its own, can potentially just kill you with that burn 6 with 4 of it being confirmed damage. So you basically have to cancel the next 2. But yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be a little scary here. They have the Grisaia player does have to weather that onslaught of Labrista on this turn. But the positive thing is, because of the anti-heal, Pre-commander player does not have an option to heal down here. Unless it's with the Nozomi heal. The Nozomi heal heals to the bottom of deck, so that one does dodge the anti-heal attacks. But yeah, we'll not be able to use any of the regular healers here. I believe Librista heals, or is it draw to? No, it's heal to stock. Okay, so Librista can also heal here, dodges anti-heal attacks. But Kokoro, I believe, is just a traditional healer, heals the waiting room, and so we'll not be able to use that to kind of dirtle up for another turn. I mean, if I was the pre-commander player here, I would just go for the lethal. Opponent did trigger, I believe, a red gate, so yeah, I think this is just a good time as any to go for the finishing turn here. Especially since the Librista does get to heal 1 if you opt to use the effect, which you basically always should, since that it, even though it like decreases your hand, you don't need hand for Librista combo. It is entirely a, oh, that is definitely going to be hit by the heal attacks. I would not be using that effect, or I would not recommend using that effect of the Kokoro. But yeah, the Librista basically, by using the heal effect, you functionally decrease its cost by, oh, decides to heal and pay the tax. Well, I mean, I think that's also understandable because Librista combo doesn't require a hand, so like your hand does not matter at all. So it is what it is. But yeah, by using the heal effect, you basically get to how do I say it? You get, oh wow, hits 2 off the brainstorm. That's kind of crazy. It is a search brainstorm here though, so definitely not as good as like salvage brainstorm could be. It also hits 2 even after the stock swap. That's crazy. But yeah, what I was saying about the Librista is that the Librista does allow you to functionally play her for 1 stock less, and which is very conducive for her combo. So the heal and like the fact that her combo costs a lot of stock but no hand, it really synergizes really well with each other. I just really like card design like that. But yeah, Princess Connect player now down to 4 stock. Very unlikely to be able to hit the, oh wow, plays out 2 Librista climax combos. Very unlikely to be able to use the climax combo on this turn. Theoretically, it is, I think it's possible if they use a, you have to pay a stock for that, I think. Did he not? I don't think he paid a stock for the 2-1. Oh, he used the Mimi effect to play it for free. Okay, I understand now. But yeah, also, what do you call it? The Librista, you can technically do it. I think if you had enough stock chargers and enough, like reverse targets to get the stock pump, you could actually pump, even at like 4 stock at the start of your attack step. I think you can pump all the way up to 10. No? Oh no, you would need a 5 stock. So yeah, definitely. Once he went down to 4 stock, he was under the stock threshold needed for Librista combo. So going for the alternate finisher of the Mimi. This Mimi is kind of crazy. It's on play, you can play another card from your hand for free, gains 2k, and then when it reverses the battling opponent, you can pay 3, ditch 1, and clock kick a back row level 2 or lower. So one of those back rows is going to the Grisaia player's clock for this turn, and uses the back row AOE effect. That AOE is shockingly good. Tap the AOE to look at up to top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. You can choose one of them to put it face down underneath one of your opponent's characters as a marker. So that marker could be quite literally anything, and ideally you would use that to marker a climax underneath a card that is not going to go away anytime soon. And yeah, they're just down a climax for the entire turn, or for the rest of the game, as long as they have that card. So pretty spooky here. Wow, does not actually kill the prince. Whoa, that was not lethal. It doesn't hit a climax off the top. Okay, wow. Wait, that wasn't lethal. Oh, Princess Connect player missing lethal, not having that climax, and unfortunately having that one attack be canceled here makes them just shy of lethal. Wow. Can the Grisaia player actually turn this around with, I mean, they only have 3 stock, which is just absolutely harrowing, but with 3 stock they can play 2 Yumikos. That is enough to play 2 Yumikos and do full combo. So we'll see if the Grisaia player has the hand for this. They can't clock this turn, so that means that if they don't have the climax, they'll need to top deck it. But there is a chance. There is a small glimmer of hope here. Potentially the light at the end of the tunnel. Princess Connect player is refreshing, so they will have to, they will have a one. Oh, it's the Labrista climax. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, so 6 damage is what separates this Grisaia player from making, honestly, potentially the comeback of the night here, because that was just a full level down in that mid game. It's level 3 while opponent was at 1-6. Definitely not a great place, but the stock swap really kind of changing things up and making that comeback possible. Burying the 2 Labrista climaxes way deep in the stock. I believe they were the 5th and 6th cards in stock. So yeah, I mean, I got a peek at their hand. They did have 2 red gate climaxes, so not the right climax for the finishing combo, but represents just a global 1k1, which does do the job. So if they can play 3 2 soul attackers, and they play the 1k1, that is definitely some lethal swings going on here. Now you might think, how is he going to play 3 2 soul attackers with only 3 stock? Well, the thing is, those 1-0 bombs are 2 soul attackers in this deck, and that is definitely enough, right? So I think that's definitely one of the strengths of the Grisaia deck, is that they have access to costless 2 soul beaters just kind of for free. And even with like basically no stock, which the deck runs on very low stock because of all the stock effects that they use to send cards into memory, and the 1/1 event that also goes to memory, and also savages. So they run pretty close to the ground in terms of stock. But yeah, just having the bomb be a 2 soul beater for no stock allows your end game to look a lot more formidable in situations where you do need to output high amounts of stock here. Oh, looks like he doesn't have a second Yumiko, but does have a Musashi in hand, and that's definitely a very juicy card to be playing at this time. Thinks about it. Oh, he plays the back row Brainstormer just to get the top deck information with the Scry. Leaves it on top, so decides to not put it to the bottom of the deck. Maybe he likes the trigger. I mean, knowledge of trigger is definitely just very valuable. Even if it's not a trigger, like just an empty card, you know that you can attack with like a 2 soul beater there with the climax. That will be a 3, and then you can attack with another card later, like the Musashi afterwards. So it does commit to the Musashi. That is 2 2 soul beaters on the field with no cards in stock. So unless he has the 1-0 bomb in hand, he's not going to be able to attack with another 2 soul beater. So okay, committing to this board, which is going to be 3-3-2. The awkward part of this is that only if the first 3 hits, then only one more of the card. Okay, so he does use the mill effect to mill off the trigger, the clean triggers off the top. So he's trying to fish for a trigger here, which I think is very important, because that 1-0 brainstorm does need an extra soul in order to present a lethal threat. So whether that extra soul is on one of the 2 soul beaters or on the 1-0 beater itself when it attacks and triggers, you just need some soul somewhere to make this to elevate the lethal threat of this board. Because right now he's only representing 1 lethal swing, even if everything sticks. But with that mill too, milling the, I guess the triggerless cards, he is potentially upping his lethal threat here. He definitely also wants to have that Musashi cancel, because that does remove a climax from his opponent's deck, as well as give an opportunity for an extra instance of damage. Unfortunately, no cancel here, so has to guess on the trigger here. Does hit it! Oh my goodness! He sticks the damage! Oh my gosh! Wow, the pre-coded player just had no cards on the top 9. No climax in the top 9. Grisaia wins from just downtown. What a comeback. Actually insane comeback there. Mostly coming from the fact that the pre-coded player wasn't able to close it out on the turn that they were pushed to level 3 there. I mean, the stock swap did, man, like a year's worth and a half there Definitely forcing the Princess Connect player in a really awkward situation. But at the same time, I definitely think Princess Connect player had a very easy path to victory in the Kokoro. Opting to heal instead of top checking 5 with the Kokoro is not exactly the play I think I would have gone for in that situation. Knowing that he had those cards in his hand, he should have just really gone for like a 1k1 swing and push, just pushing the Grisaia player to a potential just like lethal. Grisaia player is also relatively low on the cards in deck as well, so you know, pushing them closer to the refresh does get them into a really awkward situation. If they're at 3-6, they can't clock. They also can't do a lot of milling because they're gonna hit the refresh and lose the game. So yeah, I think that's probably the one major problem. Yeah, with the Princess Connect player just not opting to kind of push for a like a stronger lethal turn, instead using the Kokoro to heal when they could have gone for a climax there. But ultimately though, pretty good on both players' parts, like no major misplays. A really close game at the end there, even though it was just completely, you know, mismatched in the mid game. But I think that's like the intricacies of Weiss, right? Like you look at a game like this, in the middle you're like, there's no way that the Grisaia player wins, but you know, at the end they were able to turn around with like at a very key juncture of the game. Like I said, when the bombs got the reverses and the lanes were empty, that stock swap with that climax combo just was able to turn everything on its head. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this kind of content, you know, feel free to like and subscribe. I fairly regularly do these live match commentaries on this channel, and yeah, so be sure to look out for some upcoming ones whenever I get around to doing more of these from our local shop tournaments. That's for this time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace be with you.